CE. I am Police Chief for the City of Okmulgee. With me at the back of the room is Carol Iskey. She is our District Attorney. At around 13:49 hours this afternoon, dispatch received a report of suspicious items in the river in the area of the bridge that goes across Sharp Road, which is located southwest of Okmulgee. Officers responded and discovered what appears to be multiple human remains in the river. Multiple agencies are responding and will work to begin the recovery process. This process will take time, and currently we have more questions than answers. The families of Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens have been notified of the discovery. At this time, we cannot make an identification, but out of respect, we let the families know before it was officially announced. If it turns out that these four missing men are the remains in the river, then the focus of our investigation will shift from finding them to what happened to them. If it is determined it is not them, then we will have a separate investigation. That is the conclusion of my statement, and I will answer questions if you have any.
How much human remains have you found?
I can tell you that there are multiple, but I can't see everything, and all of it is in the river itself. So until we have searched the entire area and got everything that we can see out and made sure there's nothing else, I can't give you a definitive answer. But there are multiple objects in the water that appear to be human remains.
Like bodies or parts?
Well, I can't see everything. There is definitely what appears to be body parts protruding from the water. I can't tell you what's under the water.
Are they in a vehicle or?
No.
And do we have a team out there right now trying to retrieve those?
There are multiple agencies on scene right now that will begin by documenting the scene by aerial footage. Then they will photograph the scene. They will approach each object individually, photograph it close up, and then start the recovery process.
And are those agencies OSBI, FBI?
The District 25 Violent Crime Task Force is on scene and is leading the investigation, and officers from the Okmulgee Police Department, Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, and the District Attorney's Office, as well as some officers from Light Horse Police are out there. OSBI has provided 2 crime scene agents, and the medical examiner's forensic anthropologist is on their way, maybe on scene by now.
How were these parts discovered?
I beg your pardon?
How were these parts
A
discovered?
passerby saw something that looked suspicious in the water and called dispatch.
Is this in any way related to any of the locations that we believed that they had previously been seen?
I am not aware of this particular location being mentioned by family. There were multiple locations that the family did mention. I'm not aware of this being one of them.
Any injuries visible on the remains? Gunshots?
I can't tell.
And it was just the passerby that indicated these might be human remains?
I have not talked to that individual. My understanding is the passerby saw something in the water that he thought was suspicious and felt compelled to report it.
So as of right now, the bodies have not yet been recovered from the body of water?
No, they are still in the river. And they will be in the river for some time. It'll take some time to do the recovery. We have to be very, very meticulous.
Do we know if the passerby happened to know any of the family members or potentially the people whose remains these might belong to?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question.
You've said this entire time you don't say there's foul play involved until you have evidence. Is this evidence of foul play?
This is what I would call evidence that there's potentially foul play involved. But I need to be clear. We don't know that this is our missing men yet. So, I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Until we do, I can't tell you that they met with foul play.
Are the remains in close proximity to one another?
Probably a maximum of 75 yards total.
And I know you said it was hard for you to see everything, but does it seem like it's multiple people remain? More than one person?
Yes.
Are they close?
It's hard to tell. I think so. I can't see enough of it to tell you for sure.
Any sign of the bicycles where the men were last seen?
I was out there for a fair length of time. I did not see any bicycles.
Before this discovery, did you all find anything on the surveillance footage you were going through today?
We've been going through surveillance video for multiple days, and as I'm sure you know already know, that's a very, very tedious process. And we did not find any images of our missing men on any of the surveillance we've gone through up to now.
Was this an area that you guys were considering searching prior to this?
All of the information that we had up to this point indicated that our missing men, based on telephone data, had gone east, leaving town, and then ultimately south on 75. This is in the opposite direction. So no, we never considered this as a search area.
And are the bodies, can you tell if there's any trauma in the sense of are they just lying there or are they in a bag or anything like that to know that somebody might have done it?
I can't see any bags, but you have to understand they're partially submerged in the river. You can see portions of what appears to be a body. And again, I want to be clear. Based on my training and experience, it looks like these are human bodies. Until I get people out to them, I can't 100% confirm that. And part of the reason for that is everything is partially submerged and you can't see very much of it. It looks like they're clothed, but I can't confirm that. And I don't see any evidence of a plastic bag, or any other type of bag. But, you know, I can't tell you definitively.
And since we haven't positively ID'd these bodies as our missing men, is the search continue for them or is it suspended?
Well, I guess the best way to explain that is we would take leads as they come in and we follow them up. This is going to occupy a large portion of our time right now, which is going to slow us down. We're not stopping anything completely until we know that these men are found. But I have to dedicate resources to this. So some of my people that were involved in the review of video and whatnot will be doing this.
There had been speculation of reported sightings. Did we ever find out whether that was true or if they were really last seen and heard from on Sunday?
The only thing that I can confirm definitively is that Mark Chastain was last spoken to on the phone shortly after 5 p.m. on Sunday. 4, possibly as many as 6 individuals left the residence, but the time that's stated by the neighbor is off based on the phone data. Beyond that, I can't confirm anything. We have had many, many, many reports of sightings. We haven't been able to confirm any of them. I had one today that was in Monroe, Louisiana. So
When you say that they haven't left the residence, which residence have they left?
there is a residence that is associated with Billy Chastain. He stayed there, but I don't know that he lived there full time. And it is on West 6th Street. They left that residence, presumably together. And that's all we know. Everything else, all the other information that we have that we can confirm is based on cell phone data. So I can tell you where Mark Chastain's cell phone went, but I can't tell you definitively whether he had it at the time.
And this is a deep fork river?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said possibly 6 individuals maybe left that house. Do you have any idea who the other 2 might be?
I can't tell you for sure that there were 6, and if there were, I have no idea who the other 2 would be.
Aside from the bodies, any other items, remains?
And not that I can see and identify, no. There's some debris out there that you expect to find on the riverbank, but, you know, beer cans and things like that. But I can't tell you if any of it is related.
Is it close to a road or a bridge?
It is immediately adjacent to a bridge. The objects can be seen standing on the bridge.
Is there a diving team out there? I assume they're working pretty hard to preserve the evidence.
We have requested Oklahoma Highway Patrol's boat team to assist with recovery. I haven't been on scene since I sent the email out for this press conference, but I can tell you that based on what I saw out there, I don't think the river's deep enough to need a diver.
Was
just wondering why did you notify the family when you aren't able to identify if there are even bodies out there?
The natural conclusion, once the information gets out on social media or announced to the news by the family, would be that their loved ones have been found deceased. And I didn't want them to hear that from the news. I wanted them to hear it from me. And I've made it clear to them that I cannot tell them definitively whether this is their loved ones.
How long will teams be out there working on this, you think?
Until we're finished, I'd say sometime tomorrow.
And based on the locations of the remains, does it appear that they were thrown into the river from the bridge?
Anything I provide you with that would be pure speculation. I don't know.
And when you say until tomorrow, are they going to be working through the night?
That decision will be made sometime tonight, and I think it will probably depend on how much available light and how much artificial light we can get to where we need it. Some of the objects are very close to the bridge, which should be not much of a challenge to get light to it. Others are further away and the terrain's fairly rugged. I think that'd be pretty difficult. So if we have to suspend the recovery effort tonight, we will keep security personnel out there until tomorrow where we can restart the process.
When you mentioned that now you guys have a reason to believe there may be foul play, what leads you to believe that?
Well, the fact that I believe there are bodies in the river is the only reason at this point. Once I know the identity of those bodies, I'll have you a firmer answer.
Is that bridge closed off, or what's the access to the area?
The road is closed for a long distance in both directions.
This has been a really long week for you guys. Can you just speak to what this development means for your department in this case?
Well, I'd like to say it means rest, but I think that's going to be a while. It does come with, I don't want to say relief, but it takes some of the pressure of finding these men, assuming that that's who we're talking about, off of us, so we can shift gears and find out what happened to them. If it's not them, then we're right back to square one, and we'll be operating 2 investigations at the same time.
Once the bodies are pulled from the river, how long do you think it would take the medical examiner to give you guys an ID?
I would defer to the medical examiner's office with that question, but I think that logically that will depend on what their workload is like and how difficult the process is going to be. They're usually pretty quick at it, though.
And just one more time, a total of how many remains, how many bodies?
I don't know. I won't know till we get them all recovered. And once I have that information, I'll email out an update with as much as I can give you.
Now, having found them in a body of water, you were mentioning earlier that you guys have to be very meticulous. Can you explain a little bit of why that is?
Well, we're meticulous at every crime scene, but when you have water, spotting evidence is much more difficult. So the evidence search process in the immediate area of any item of evidence that you do find, and in this case, we're talking about human remains, you have to be extra meticulous. You have to go that extra step to make sure you don't miss anything.
Anything else that we didn't ask you you would like to add?
Oh, good Lord, I can't think of anything else.
What's your message to the families?
We're not giving up. If these are your loved ones, all we're doing is switching focus, and we're going to work just as hard to find out what happened to them as we did trying to find them.
And if foul play is involved, like giving a message to the perpetrators out there?
I'll tell him when I see him. Anything else? All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much.